kind of a step-by-step tutorial, and then at the end, we'll open it up to questions. So if you could just hold all your questions until we finish here, and let me get started. So give me just one moment here. I'm going to share kind of a step-by-step. All right. Okay, can you see my screen?
I see, hold on just a second. I believe we can. Yes.
Okay, great. So once I launch the app, I'm going to make sure that you can still hear me.
Okay.
So those of you who've used the app, you'll recognize in the upper left, the blue square with the white plus sign is the app icon. Once I open it, can you still hear me, Sean?
Yes, you sound good, and we see your phone.
Great. Okay. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about how to get the app. I assume most people on this call have already downloaded it. But if you haven't, just go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, type in the word LifeVantage, and it will be the first app that appears. So once you install the app and launch it, you will log in using your LifeVantage ID as the username and your LifeVantage password as the password. So once you first log into the app, you'll land on this screen. This is the main user interface of the app. This is the section of the app that we refer to as the deck, or the deck of cards. And that's because it's designed to look and operate like a deck of cards. We went with that design because we wanted a way to be able to show a distributor right up front the various steps they needed to take in order to grow their business. So, well, in order to onboard and grow their business. So each user is dealt the same hand of cards, if you will, initially. It's a mix of 11 cards. Some are video training cards, and some are cards that prompt you to add contacts, because adding contacts to the app is what really gives it legs. So everybody starts on this card here, which is an introductory video from Darren. The way that you navigate through the deck of cards is you swipe up to go to the next card, and you swipe down to go to the previous card. So going through this initial hand of cards, you'll see this is a 10 in motion training video. This is a card that's asking you to add 5 health conscious contacts. The next card is a training video on the icebreakers concept, a video on inviting basics, how to open a presentation, and then a card asking you to add 5 business-minded contacts. Now, these cards that are asking you to add contacts are obviously using the memory jogger method of helping you form a list of prospects. So a few things about cards in general. Each card will have a green action button on it. In this case, it says okay. In the case of a video card, it will say watch. Sometimes it says continue or do it. But in either case, that green button is going to take you to do whatever action the card is asking you to do. So in this case, where it's a card asking you to add contacts, when you tap the green button, you'll be taken to the screen to add a contact. If it's a video card and you tap watch, the video will begin to play. Now, all cards also have a snooze button to the left of the green action button. And when you tap snooze, you have a few options. The first option being, I'll do this later, works exactly like a typical snooze feature would. The card will disappear and it will reappear in your deck 24 hours later. The next 2 options, I don't want to do this, or I already did this. There is a slight difference in how the app processes those 2 options, but for the sake of this demo, let's say that they both get rid of the card. So whether you've already done it, and maybe you did whatever the card is asking you to do outside of the app, or you just simply don't want to do it, select one of these options and the card will disappear and it won't come back. And then of course at the bottom there, if you tap cancel, you'll just go right back to the card. One last thing about cards, if you see at the bottom of this card in blue text where it says how to add business-minded contacts. That's what we call a helper text link. And those are sprinkled throughout the app. When you see those, if you tap on it, a short video will play that gives you a little more context into why the card or the app is asking you to do what it is. And in some cases, it will give you a little bit of some tips on how to do what it's asking you to do. So those are kind of like a persistent, kind of always there lifeline for you to reach out to if you don't quite understand what's going on at any point of the app. Tap on those blue links and you'll get a support video. So let's move forward with this card here because earlier, as I was saying, adding contacts to the app is what really gives it power. When you add contacts, you start getting more cards in your deck, prompting you on what to do next with those contacts. So that's what we refer to as putting a contact in motion. So if I tap OK here, I'm brought to this screen where it's telling me I've added 0 of the 5 business-minded contacts that the app wants me to add. So if I tap Add Contact once more, I have these 2 options. The first, Import from Contacts, allows you to copy a contact into the app from your device or your phone address book. Now, we allow you to do this only one contact at a time, and that's by design. We intentionally designed the app to work that way because we don't want people with the tap of a single button to generate these massive contact lists and sync their entire address book. And then by nature of how the app works, with the tap of one more button, send all those contacts a message. That would be considered spam, and it gives the app and the users a bad name. It also allows us to encourage a sort of a best practice when using the app. And that is that this app is not a mass communication tool. It's designed to be much more of a mindful, deliberate method of communicating with a contact as you move them through a prospect channel, whether that be for a customer or a distributor. So again, we do allow you to add contacts from your address book, but only one at a time, or you can select the second option there, add manually. And in that case, you will just enter all of the contact information into the app itself. So for this demo, I'm going to import from contacts, and I'm going to search for Sean's phone number. So there she is. If I tap on her contact information or her contact card there, you'll see that now I'm in the app contact card and all of her information has been carried over. So there's her first and last name, her mobile number, and her email. Now, you don't have to have both a mobile number and an email. If you only have one or the other for a contact, that's fine. But if you do have both, you'll have this option under where it says send messages to. So if you select the first option, mobile, this is how you determine the method of contact for a given person. So if you select mobile for a contact, then every message that you send to them from the app will go via text message. If you select email, every message you send to them from the app will go out via email. Now, we do this because we assume that most contacts prefer to be communicated with the same way. Now, in other words, we think it's not often that somebody says, I like to receive text messages sometimes or emails other times. Typically, if you're a person who likes text, you want everything in text and vice versa for email. You can change this at any point by going into the contact card in the app and editing their preference here. And you can also change it on a per message basis when you're composing a message. And I'll show you how to do that in just a few minutes. So let's assume that Sean is a text contact. Below that, where it says interest level, if you tap set interest level, this is a very important part of the contact. So when you tap to set an interest level, you have these 5 options. Now, depending on which one of these you choose, the app is going to act differently. Specifically, again, when you add contacts to the app, you'll start getting cards in your deck telling you how to follow up with them. And depending on what interest level you choose for that contact, the card will suggest you do something different. So in other words, if I were to add Sean and say that she's ready to enroll, I would get a card in my deck saying Sean is ready to enroll. Let's share an enrollment link with her. If I were to say that she's ready to purchase, I would get a card that says Sean is ready to purchase. Let's fill out a cart and share it with her. The third option, interested but not ready yet. We assume that the majority of contacts being added into the app are going to fall into this category. It's a prospect. So they're not quite ready to enroll. They're not quite ready to buy any products. However, they are interested and they want to learn more. So if you were to set somebody's interest level to interested but not ready yet, the new deck or the new card in your deck would suggest that you share a video with them. Now, because we assume that the majority of contacts are going to fall into this category, this is also the default. So if I were to add Sean as a contact and not set an interest level for her, the app would assume that she's interested but not ready yet. The last 2 options, not interested now and not interested at all, both of these put the contact into somewhat of a back burner state. You won't immediately get a card suggesting you follow up with them. Instead, there'll be I'm getting a bit of feedback. Is somebody not muted? Okay, that sounds better. Thank you. So there'll be a delay in the card that you get. So if you were to say that they're not interested right now, you'd get a card in several weeks that says, hey, let's reach back out to Sean, see if maybe her interest levels or interests have changed. If you say that she is not interested at all, you'll get a card in several months that suggests you follow up and see if her interests have changed. So that's interest level. We'll say that Sean is interested but not ready yet. And then down below that, where you have the button that says show advanced info, if you tap on that, you have a few more options. The first being type. Now, type is strictly optional. You don't have to set a type, but some people prefer to put their contacts into these categories. So you can set a contact as being health conscious or business minded or a supporter contact. Now, again, some people just like to organize their contacts this way. It helps them remember what's important to a given contact. However, you don't need to change this setting at all if you don't want to. I'll say that Sean is health conscious. Down below that, you have interests. If you tap add interest, this is also very important. So this is how you set the topic of information that the app suggests you share. So if you were to say that Sean is interested in business or the opportunity, then, and that she's interested but not ready yet, I would get a card in my deck that says Sean is interested in learning more. Let's share a video with her. And the video it suggests I share would be the animated opportunity video. And like interest level, there's also a default here where we assume that the default contact is going to be interested in the business. So if you don't set an interest, the app will assume that they're interested but not ready yet, and that they're interested in the business. You can also set an interest in products. So we've got all of the product families in here, from Pro Tandem to Physique to Pet Tandem. So let's say that Sean is actually interested in Pro Tandem. And you can set multiple interests. So let's say that she is also interested in True Science. And when you set multiple interests, you'll get multiple cards. So you'll get 2 different cards suggesting you share 2 different videos with Sean. So let's assume that those are her interests. Down below that, you have a couple of more options being address and notes. These, like the type, are strictly optional. You don't have to enter anything in there, but some people just like to have all of the information for a contact in one place. And if you're that type of person, you can enter everything here. So once you've filled everything out for a contact, oh, I'm sorry, at the top, you can also add a photo by just tapping the blue button there that says add photo. So once you've filled out everything for a contact, you go ahead and tap add in the upper right. And once you do that, you're brought to this screen. Now, this screen is a new feature that we've added into the app within the last 2 months. And it has to do with what are now considered global laws around privacy and anti-spam. So originally they came out of the European Union, and they're known as GDPR laws. However, Australia and Canada have very similar laws, and our legal team here at corporate assumes that these laws will be coming into the US within the next year or so. So while we had to make changes to comply when we launched in Canada and Australia at the end of October, we figured it was a good idea to go ahead and just make it a platform-wide change and launch it in the US as well. And this also helps us to ensure another best practice, which is that this app should not be used as a cold call method. You shouldn't be reaching out to a contact for the first time from the app. So you should already have contacted them or have had some interaction with them before you start communicating with them from the app. So the laws that we built this feature around are actually the Canadian privacy and anti-spam laws, which state that you can use an app like this to communicate with a contact if you either A, know them personally, or B, have been referred to them by a third party who knows both of you. And in that case, you also have to include the first and last name of the third party who referred you in the first message. So let me show you how that looks in an app. When you go to save a contact, you'll be asked this question: do you know Sean personally? If you do, if you select yes and tap save in the upper right, then it will save the contact and you'll be able to go ahead and communicate with them freely. If you say no, then this question appears, which says, who introduced the two of you? So here you will have to enter in the first and last name of the person who referred you. So I'm just going to put in a fake name here. I'm going to say Mary introduced us. And once you enter that, you tap save in the upper right, and you're brought to this screen. Now, what that actually did was that saved Sean's contact information, but it also added the name of the person who referred me to that card. So because it will use that name the first time I send a message to her. And I'll show you that in just a moment. But now once you save a contact, you're brought to this card, which says I've now added one of the 4 business-minded contacts it's asking me to add. If I want to add more, I tap on the add contact button, and I'll go through the same process that I just went through. So let's look now at the new cards that will appear after I added her to the app. So let me see here. If I cycle through the cards here, give me just a minute. It will be down at the bottom of the deck. And here it is. So if you'll notice, once I saved her, down on the icon that says deck at the bottom, there was a red bubble that had a number 2. Now it has a number 1 in it. That's to indicate that you have new cards in your deck. And you'll know when you get to those new cards because like this one, they'll have a red dot in the upper left. Now, the number dropped from 2 to 1, obviously, because now I'm looking at one of those new cards. And that card is the one that is suggesting that I share a nutrigenomics video with Sean. So that's because I set her interest level as being interested in Protandem. You'll see that the next card is the one that is suggesting I share the True Science Beauty System video with her. So let's go ahead and just go through one of these cards here, because now this contact is what we refer to as being put into motion. I added her, I set her interest level, and now it's going to ask me to begin sharing things with her. One more thing about this card is you'll notice below the snooze and continue buttons, there's a little more information on this card. There's the date today, December 12th, and then below that it says Sean McKee, and she has an interest in Protandem. So this is what we refer to as the third rail. Anytime you get a card in your deck that is specific to a contact, this third rail will be there. And what it will include is the last activity you did in the app with that contact. So it's a very good way to be able to, you know, when the app is asking you to reach out to somebody and you don't remember what you last did with them or when you last spoke with them or shared something with them, look down on that third rail and that will tell you so that you can pick up right where you left off. Sometimes, you know, once you get a contact in motion and you start sharing things with them, once you share a video with them, you'll get a card. Once they watch the video, you'll get a new card in your deck that suggests that you follow up with them. If they don't watch the video in 24 hours, you'll get a card that suggests that you remind them to watch the video. You'll also get cards when you get a new customer or when somebody completes enrollment or when a contact has or when a customer has an order that's dropping soon. So all of these are contact specific action cards, and all of those will have this third rail information. So let's move forward with sharing a video. If I tap continue, I'm brought to this screen. This is the message composer. So you can see at the top where it says, hello, this is Ryan Balz. Our mutual friend Mary gave me your name. If you remember back to when I was talking about the privacy laws, how I said, if you don't know the contact personally, you have to include the first and last name of the person who referred you. This is what I'm talking about. So this is automatically added into the message. It's only included, it's important to remember, it's only included in the first message that you send to a contact that you don't know. We've specifically put it in a lighter color font, so it's kind of a gray color to indicate to the user that you can't edit that part. Because again, it has to go out just as it's written with the first and last name of the referrer. Then below that, you'll see there's a pre-written message that says, check out this video about nutrigenomics, a brand new emerging science. Now, in every case where the app suggests that you send somebody a message, whether you're sharing a cart with them, or you're sharing an enrollment link, or you're following up with them, or in this case, when you're sharing a video with them, we have gone ahead and included these pre-written scripts for you. Now, you can use them just as they are, or you can edit them however you like, or you can delete them altogether. That's up to you, but I'll just show you using the keyboard below. I'm just going to get rid of the last two words to show you how you can edit it. Now, if you want to see the video that you're sharing, if you've forgotten what video was attached to this action card, you can tap the white bar in the middle with the green send button to the right of it, and the keyboard will disappear. And now you can see a thumbnail of the video, the title. There's the blue button down in the lower left that says watch video. If you want to tap on that, the video will start playing for you. So that's how you can check the video that you're sending. Earlier, when I said that you can change the method of contact on a per message basis, you do that by below where it says compose message. You can see where there's Sean's initials, SM, in the gray circle. If you tap on that, this overlay appears, and you can see now where I can select mobile or email for this message. So I'm going to leave it as mobile and just tap cancel for now. But if I were to change that to email, then it would change it just for this message. Once this message goes out, it would assume that Sean still prefers text, and it would go back to that for every message going forward. So once you've written everything you want to write in the message, you're good with the video and the method of contact, you tap send in the upper right or the green button in the middle, and your message is out. So you'll get this card that says great job, the video's on its way. And now this is the next card, because I said that Sean had two interests, one being True Science Beauty System. So this is asking me to share that video with her. Now, Sean, can you please do us a favor and let us know when you've received that text message?
Sure. Yes, hello. Hold on. Hello, Sean McKee. This is Ryan Balz, our mutual friend, Mary. Mary gave me your name, Sean. Check out this video about nutrigenomics. By the way, it's Ryan Balz. This is a text-only number for my business. Add it to my contacts so you'll know it's me.
Perfect. Thank you. The reason why I wanted you to read the message was just for that last part there, that last paragraph, which says, by the way, it's me. It will include your name as the sender. And it says, this is a text-only number I use for business. Save it under my contacts so you know it's me going forward. Now, the reason that's in there has to do with what we call long code numbers. So for those of you who have used the app, you will have noticed that when you send text messages from the app, it does not come from your phone number. And the reason for that is because it's actually impossible to have an app use your cellular account to send text messages. One of the reasons has to do with incurring data charges on your account. And then there are a few other technical limitations around it. But the way that we've worked around that at this point is to issue what we call a long code number. So when anybody logs into the app for the first time, they'll automatically be assigned one of these long code numbers. It looks like a telephone number. It's 10 digits, but it's obviously not going to be your phone number. So what we do to avoid confusion on behalf of the recipient is we include that language in the first message that you send to them, like the privacy disclaimer there. Again, it only goes out in the very first message. It kind of works like an email signature. You can't see it when you're composing the message, but the recipient will. And again, it tells them that it's you. This is a text-only number that you use for business, and it suggests that they save it, because when they save that number under your contact information in their phone, it will show up as you going forward. So that the phone number will always be the same for a given contact. It's also a good practice to let them know if you've been communicating with them via your mobile number, and now you're going to switch to the app. Just let them know, hey, I'm going to start communicating with you from an app that LifeVantage provides. It helps me stay on top of following up with people, and it helps me share things more easily. So when you get a message from me, it won't be from my normal number. Rest assured it's me. Just save that new number under my contact, and then you'll know it's me going forward. So that's long code numbers, and that's how to add a contact and put somebody in motion. The next section we're going to look at is messages. So down on the bottom, the second one from the right, it says messages. if you tap on that, this section is very easy to understand. It works very similar to the Messages app on your iPhone or your Android device. You can see when you first tap on Messages, you're brought to this screen where there's a list of all your messages with the most recent being at the top. If you want to compose a new message, you tap on the square with the pencil in the upper right, and then you're brought to this screen where you'll add your contact. Sean is my only contact in the app at the moment, so I'll add her. However, you can add multiple contacts to a message. In fact, you can add as many as you want. And what that will do is it won't start a group chat or like a group text type message, meaning not everybody will be able to see everybody's responses. It will just start a one-to-one conversation between you and everybody you put in the recipient list. So they'll all receive the same first message, and then when they respond, they'll all be separate conversations with you. So once you've added in your recipients at the top, to type the message, you tap where it says say something, and you can write whatever you'd like. If you want to attach something to the message, you tap on the blue circle with the white plus sign, and you can attach an invite to a meeting. You can attach a piece of media like a video. You can attach a shopping cart or an enrollment link. So that's how to create a new message. To cancel the message or delete it, you tap on the blue arrow at the on the top left. So that will bring you back to this screen. Now, one more thing about messages, if I tap on a given message, so I'll tap on the first one here, you'll see that this screen should look very familiar. It's very similar to a text message on your iPhone or your Android device. It uses what we call a threaded messaging display, meaning the entire conversation will be on this one screen. So if you've been communicating a lot with somebody, you may have to scroll up or down to see everything, but all of your sent messages and replies will be in order, in chronological order in this screen. So you'll see that messages you sent are aligned on the right in the blue box, and messages you receive will be aligned on the left in a white box, and they all have the timestamp on top of them to let you know when the message was sent or received. So that is messages. The next section we're going to look at is the plus sign in the middle. So this is what we refer to as the quick start menu. It's a place where we've put the 4 most common activities used in the app in this one place. Now, there are multiple ways to do all of these things. The first being add a contact. I just demonstrated how to do that by following the action card that's asking you to add contacts. Share a cart and send an enrollment link. Both of those you can do from the deck of cards by adding a contact and setting their interest level to either ready to buy or ready to enroll. So let's look next at sharing a cart. If I tap share a cart, I assure you that this is the fastest, easiest way to share products available today. Once you tap share a cart, you're brought here to the carts page. We have 2 what we call featured carts here, the Vitality Stack and Activated Essentials. These featured carts are programmed by us here at corporate. They're the most frequently shared carts, so we figure we'll put them right here up front in the beginning so they're easy for people to find. The way that you share a cart is by tapping on it. So in this case, I'm going to share Vitality Stack. If I tap on that, you can see under products where it says Pro Tandem Vitality bottles. Down at the bottom on the left, you can see the retail and monthly cost. Down on the right, you can see the number of items added. Once you have your products in there, you tap attach cart, either in the blue button in the middle or the blue text in the upper right. Once you tap attach cart, you're brought to this screen, which will show all of your contacts in the app. So you select the contact that you want to share the cart with. So I'll select Sean and then tap next in the upper right. Once you do that, you're brought to the message composer where we've pre-written a message here for you that says, here's the perfect cart for you. You can change that to whatever you want. If you forget what's in the cart, or you want to just make sure that the cart is right before you send it, tap on the white bar in the middle with the green send button, and the keyboard will disappear. And now you can see an image, a thumbnail image of the products. You can see the retail and monthly cost. If you tap see your cart there, you can see even more information on it. So again, once you're happy with your message, you're happy that you added the right products, you tap send, either the green button in the middle on the right or in the upper right, and the cart is on its way. Now, what will happen now is Sean will receive a message from me, in this case, a text message, because I said she prefers text. And when she opens it, there'll be a link in it. When she taps on that link, she'll go straight to the checkout page with those items already there. So this is exactly like sharing a cart from your replicated website. The best analogy I have for it is it's like going to the grocery store, grabbing a cart, walking through the aisles, dropping a bunch of products in it, going to the front of the store, waiting in line. Once the cashier rings up all your items and it's time to pay, you walk away, and the actual customer walks in, swipes their card, and walks off with the products in the cart. So that is again the fastest way to share a cart today. Again, all Sean will need to do is enter in her card information, select a subscription date if she wants one, and complete the transaction, and she'll be all set. So I'm going to tap the arrow in the upper left to go back to the main screen. Now, obviously, you can share more carts than just the featured carts. You can share whatever you want. So if you want to create a cart, tap New in the upper right, and that will bring you to this screen. Under Products, you tap Add a Product, and the entire product list will appear. So let's say that Sean wants Protandim Dual Synergizer. Once you tap on a product, you can see there's a description of it, some information on it. You can see the retail and monthly price. Down at the bottom where there's a minus sign, a number 1, and a plus sign, you can change the quantity there. So let's say that Sean wants 3 dual synergizer packs. And then once you have the right quantity, you tap Add either in the lower right or upper right. Let's say that Sean also wants the True Science Beauty System. So you tap on that and say she only wants one of those. So I'll go ahead and tap Add. Now, again, you can add whatever you want. Once you've added all the products you want, tap the arrow in the upper left, and you'll come back to this screen. You can see now under Products, there's the Protandim Dual Synergizer. It has a blue little bubble there with the number 3 in it, which is to indicate that there are 3 of those. Below that, you'll see the True Science Beauty System. Down at the bottom of the left, you'll see the total retail and monthly cost, and on the right, the total number of items. So that's how you create a cart. Now, one very handy feature here is under where it says Options, where it says Save Cart for Future Use. So if you often find yourself selling the same products to people, or if you find yourself dealing with the same customers a lot who are interested in the same types of products, go here into the app, create a cart, and tap that option that says Save Cart for Future Use. On the right, tap the toggle there. It will turn green, and then below it, you can see there's a line that says Cart Name. If you tap on that, you can create a name for that cart. So I'll just call this Sean's Cart, and then you go ahead and attach it. Now, what that did was that created a kind of a custom cart. Now, when you go back to the main carts page or screen, you can see below carts where it says on the left featured. If you tap where it says saved, you can see all of your carts. So right there is Sean's cart. Now you can create as many of these as you'd like, and you can name them whatever you want. The recipient won't see the name that you put there. They'll simply see the checkout page with the products in there. So name it whatever you want, whatever helps you remember what's either in it or who it's for. And this is, again, this is kind of a quick way to be able to save your cards so you can quickly access them going forward. So that is sharing a cart. Next, let's look at sending an enrollment link. Like sharing a cart, I assure you this is the fastest, easiest way to enroll somebody. In fact, it's even faster than sharing a cart. If you tap send enrollment link, your list of contacts in the app appears. If you tap on the contact you want to share it with and then tap next in the upper right, the message composer appears. It says, I'm excited to start working with you. Let's get started by clicking this link. You can edit it however you want up until the word link, where it starts with HTTP. You cannot edit beyond that because the link has to go to the recipient exactly how it is there. So once you've written your message, you can also add an attachment here. If you tap midway down on the left, the blue text that says add attachment, if you tap on that, you can attach a piece of media like a video. But once you've written your message, you tap the green send button or send in the upper right, and that's it. Now what will happen there is the recipient will receive your message. When they open it, there'll be a link in it. And when they tap on that link, they'll go straight to the enrollment form. Now, one advantage of doing it from the app is that all of the information, the contact information you have for them in the app will be carried over into the enrollment form. So in the case of Sean here, where I have her first and last name, her phone number, and her email address, all of that information will already be put in the form for her. She will just need to go through, enter in any missing information, select her enrollment pack, agree to the terms and pay, and then she'll be all set. And once she's finished with that process, finished with enrolling, she'll receive a welcome email with a link to download the app, and she can download it right then and get started with onboarding and building her own business. So that is how to share a cart and an enrollment link. The next section we're going to look at is people. Down on the bottom, the icon just to the right, plus sign. I tap on people.
Ryan, you're kind of muffled.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay. I think my finger was covering the microphone there a bit. So when you tap on people, you come to this screen that shows all of your contacts in the app. If you look under where it says people, you have three options: all, customers, or distributors. Now, I'm using a test account here for this demo, so I actually don't have any customers or distributors. However, for those of you who do, you'll notice that there are already contacts in those sections. And that's because we automatically add all of your contacts into the app for you, all of your customer contacts and all of your distributor contacts from your organization. And what I mean by organization is your sponsor, anybody you personally sponsor, and anybody you personally enrolled. So those will already be in there for you. A few things about contacts. If I tap on Sean's contact, you'll come to this screen. This looks very similar to the screen when we first added her, but now you can see under her name where it says orders, you can tap on that and that will show you any orders that she's completed that you sent her through the app. You can also look at activity in the middle there, and that will show you all of the activity you've done in the app with that contact. So you can see at the top where I created an enrollment link for her. Before that, I sent a message, I shared a card, all the way down to the bottom where I added her as a contact. And then you can also see on the right option there, the information. This is where you can see her interest level. If you tap edit, you can change anything you want for that contact. and then you can tap save in the upper right. So that's how to look at somebody else's contact. Now, if you tap the arrow in the upper left, you'll go back to the list of people. If you tap it again, you come to this screen. Now, this screen on the bottom where it says me, I'm going to go there now. And this is your contact card. So again, I'm using a test account. I don't actually have any data or any volume, but for those of you who do, you'll notice this screen looks different because under my name where it says business, I'm looking at the business section of my own card, and you can see, you'll be able to see your personal volume. If you swipe left, you'll see your organizational volume. Both of these sections will have a bar graph. There'll be two bars. The bar on the left is the previous month. The bar on the right is the current month. The number values on those bars, on the left, the top number will be the actual volume for the previous month. On the right, or the current month, the number at the top will be your projected volume. Then below that, somewhere below that, depending on which day of the month you're looking at, there will be a number that will show you the actual volume of the current day on the right side. On the left side, adjacent to that, there'll be another number, and that will show you the actual volume on the same day of the previous month. So that's a good way to compare month over month performance. As you scroll down, you'll see legs. There'll be your top 4 legs and their distribution percentages. You can also, under your name there, you can switch to different sections so you can look at your orders. When you look at activity under your card, you can see all of the activity you've done with all contacts in the app. Whereas before, when I was looking at Sean's card, I could only see what I had done with her. So this is a great place to refer to when you're wondering, oh, did I send that message, or when did I last communicate with that person, or what did we last do? You can always go back to this section, see all of your activity, so that you can pick up right where you left off when you reach back out to people. And then all the way to the right where it says info, that's where you can see your distributor ID, your replicated site URL, and your business name. So that is the people section. If you tap to the right of your name where you can see the square that says you, and then there are 3 dots. If you tap on those, you can see all of your support options. So you can email customer support or call them. You'll also see below that where it says version 1.65.13. That is the version of the app that you are currently running. I show this because we release updates to the app every 2 weeks, and that's the way that we deploy new features, and we deploy any bug fixes. So it's a good idea to regularly go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and check and make sure you have the most recent version installed. And this is where you'll see what version you're on. And then, of course, below that, you can log out. So that is the people section. The last section we're going to look at is media. On the bottom, all the way to the right, if you tap on media, this is where we have all of the videos from corporate. We can store anything from videos to audio files like Pro Audio. We can also store documents or images. So there's a wealth of information in here. There's a lot of different media assets, and we have them all organized in these categories. So you can see there's training, presenting, new, there's the different product categories, business and science. So I'm not going to go through all of them here, but let's look at a couple of them to see how media works. The first section, training, let's tap on that. What you have here, these first 2 pieces of media are actually PowerPoint presentations that have recently been provided by the FAB. You have a short version and a full version to use for training or presenting. As you scroll down, you can see these are Pro Audio episodes. So there are a lot of them. So I'll scroll through them kind of quickly. once you get through those, you'll see these training videos. So this one, for example, where it says, how did I get this customer? And it's 1 minute and 14 seconds long, or setting the interest level, and it's 2 minutes and 31 seconds long. These are the helper text videos I was referring to earlier. So you can play these videos by tapping on those blue text links throughout the app when you need help, or you can, if you have a few minutes, come here to the training section, and all of them are in here. So that is training. Let's look at one more section. Down under products, let's look at True Science. If you tap on that, this first item is the hair care study document. Then you have the product video, the launch video, the teaser video, you have product information sheets, FAQs, all the way to the True Science Beauty System video. A couple of things about how pieces of media work. So if you tap on the image for a piece of media, you'll come to this screen. If you tap on the image once more, it'll play the video for you. If you tap in the upper right, if you see there's a star, if you tap on that star and it turns white, you've just marked that piece of media as a favorite. And what that means is when you go back out to this main screen, you see the favorites folder below presenting to the right of new. When you tap on that, you'll see any videos that you've marked as favorites. So if there's a pro audio episode that you like to listen to often, or if you have a particular video that you find is useful to share to your customers, go ahead and mark it as a favorite, and it will put it here in this folder, which is kind of like your own personal space in the media library, so you can easily find them going forward. One more thing about media, if you're in this screen and you want to share it, tap on the square with the arrow in the upper right, and you have two options. The first being message, so you can share it via text message or email, whichever you have set for that contact, or social sharing. And at this point, if you select social sharing, you'll be able to share it to the social media networks that you are currently logged into via their apps on your device. So for example, if you have the Facebook app downloaded, you tap social sharing, you select Facebook, and it will post it to the profile that you are currently logged into on the Facebook app. Social sharing is actually one area of the app that we're currently building a lot more features around. So be looking for that in the coming months. But for now, you can share them to the profile that you're logged into. So as a recap, this is actually the third way I've shown in this demo how to share a piece of media. The first being adding a contact, setting their interest level, and then following the action cards that prompt you to share media with them. The second being while you're composing a message, tapping the blue circle to add an attachment and selecting a piece of media. And the third being coming straight here to the media library, selecting the piece of media you want to share, and tapping the square in the upper right. So that is the demo of the LifeVantage app. I know there was a lot of information there, so if you want to ask any questions, now would be the time. Before I open it up to questions, I just want to briefly discuss the new upcoming features that we will be launching soon, called the List Action Card, or List Action Cards. There's actually going to be two of them. What these cards allow us to do is to come up with a list of recipients based on a certain attribute and allow the user to, with the tap of a single button, message all of them. So one execution we have of this, and the first one that we'll be launching with, is the subscription management card. So what that card allows us to do is when we run subscriptions, which there are 5 subscription runs every month, there are a certain number of orders that fail for whatever reason. So the subscription management card will immediately after the subscription order runs, it will send a card to app users that let them know which subscription orders of theirs failed. And then with the tap of a single button, they can send all of those people a message offering help so offering for you to get in contact with them and help them work through whatever their issue is. So that's one version of it, and we'll be launching that very soon. At this point, I can say before Christmas. I've seen it myself. We have the functionality in there. We're just testing a few of the data exchange requirements between the app and the LifeVantage system before we go live with it. But that will be a very powerful feature for people. The second version of the list action card will be launched in January, and it will involve the hair care system. So that version of it will take a look at a distributor's account, an app using distributor's account, and it will come up with a list of everybody who's bought True Science from you in the past, and it will issue a card to you with all of those names in it. And then with the tap of a single button, you'll be able to reach out to all of your past True Science customers and share the new hair care product video with them. So that one we refer to as the upsell card.
Ryan, that is so exciting. Excuse me for interrupting. Did you say when that one will be available?
It will be available in January when the general hair care product is available.
Awesome.
Yes. So that's all I have